Today on Design Build Workshop, we're going to build a fireplace screen. This fireplace screen was a commission. I began with the measurements of the opening and the client's request of an arts and crafts design. The frame is all half-inch square solid bar, and there is some half-inch flat bar securing the screen and some of the stained glass. All of the small square openings will have glass in them. The rest of the voids will have screen other than the large glass panel on the right of the frame. An important detail for me when doing metalwork is to leave no surface untouched. This begins with straightening the bar stock, which is rarely straight when you get it from the supplier. When you true up a bar, work one plane at a time or you'll find yourself chasing the same bend or kink over and over. It's also important to hammer the corners of the milled bars to give them a proper look. Once the bars have been straightened and corners hammered, we need to wire brush the steel to remove all of the mill scale. This takes a little effort, but is well worth the work when you see the finished product. As this piece was going to be clear coated, it was absolutely necessary. Once all the bar stock has been straightened, hammered, and wire brushed, we can weld and grind the main frame of the screen. Wherever there is a joint, it was covered with a hammered strap and held in place with rivets. This hammerwork, or peening, was done cold as it wasn't necessary to heat these pieces to get the surface effect. The flaring of the ends was done with a cross peen, as you can see. The rest of the surfacing was done with a ball peen. With the frame being ground and wire brushed, the straps are now drilled and secured with 1/4-inch rivets. If you're enjoying this video and would like to see more, please give it a like and subscribe. The lion's share of the metalwork is complete, so it's time to move on to the stained glass. I used a piece of 1/2-inch drywall to draw my pattern on and secure the glass in place with push pins so it won't move during the soldering process. So obviously I've already completed the work, the glass work on the fireplace screen. So I thought I'd just do a small example here of a wooden mallet, and we'll go ahead and cut the glass and get that soldered together so you can kind of see the process that I used when I was doing this. This is textured, so it's rough on one side and fairly smooth on the other. That's the side you want to mark on, and it's the side you want to cut on. This is not the thing to use for doing stained glass. I had nothing but terrible trouble with this thing. So then I went back and I got this one, which was quite a bit more expensive. However, it works really well. This chamber basically gets filled with oil, and then you screw it together, and that helps lubricate, I guess, the cutting wheel. All right, so firm pressure all the way across. So next we're going to work on this piece and this piece. That should be good. There are little pieces of glass, so you just have to be careful. Make sure you brush that off. Piece in here. So now that we've got all the pieces cut, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to foil everything. And then once we foil it, then we can go ahead and start to solder. Foil the edges. And the reason we're doing that is that the solder is not going to stick to the glass itself. It will stick to this really thin copper. So that's what we're going to use on these edges. There. Okay, so our first piece is foiled. Now that all our glass pieces are foiled, we need to apply flux to the edges to be joined. Use a liberal amount to ensure you get a good coverage. Take your time with applying the solder. If you did a good job with the flux, it should flow well. I added caning to the outside of the glass panel and around other pieces of glass within the screen. This adds a frame around the glass panel and provides a good amount of rigidity. The only portion of this piece that actually required forge work were the two handles. The woven screen material was painted black, along with anything else I wanted to diminish in this project. The solder work on the glass panel was treated with patina to give it a warmer feel. Here it is installed in the customer's home. I'm very happy with the fit and overall look of this piece. I was glad to see the effect I was going for worked with the clear textured glass when viewing the fire through it. Thanks for joining me on the design and build process for the Fireplace screen. See you next week on Design Build Workshop.